Hey there, beauty friends. Okay, so let's get on with this pricing for one simple product. Okay, so this is just an example. Uh, for our examples, we're going to use a baby care line that's made for babies with problem skin. And I'm sorry, my son decided to shout in the background as soon as I started talking. He was quiet until then. Okay, so let me go here. All right. So here's just a quick partial ingredient map. As you will see when we do the full line, this one is just for a for a simple product, but I will do all the ingredients including the cosmetic chemicals, right? But let's just look at a partial ingredient map and let's look at the oils that we've selected for this baby care line for kids with problem skin. We're going to use calendula seed oil. We're going to use calendula infused sunflower oil. We're going to use carrot seed oil, jojoba oil, and then the herbs that we have calendula, chamomile, and lavender. And then we also have essential oils of lavender and chamomile. So that's what we've decided to use. So the outline of our basic formula for this simple product is going to be a hair and body oil. It's going to be a light oil that you can slather baby in from head to toe on any problem areas or just a daily finishing oil for their little hair. If they have cradle cap, you can really rub it onto the scalp. A lot of people use olive oil. Well, this would be like olive oil but on steroids and not as greasy. So if you wanted to leave it on all day and then wash it off at bath time, and then maybe put it on again overnight, or if you don't want to put it on overnight because baby's wearing a cap or something, you could then do something like you know usually people bathe their babies at night. Not everyone does, but most people do as part of the bedtime routine. So you could wash it off at night as they prescribe you to do with the oil. And then in the morning you could put it on again and have baby wear it all day without their hair being like a greasy mess, because we all know baby hair is so fine. Okay, so that's one way you can use it. You can use it as a bath oil, you can use it as body oil. Um, Even moms who have like a problem face can use it on their face or use it as a scalp oil. So it's really just an all-round gentle oil. And if you have children with eczema, this would work well for them as well. So, um, the outline of our basic formula for an 8-ounce size would be 2 ounces of calendula seed oil, 3 ounces of calendula infused sunflower oil, which we will be making ourselves. And when we go into the pricing, you will understand very quickly why we are making it ourselves. And then 3 ounces of sunflower oil. So everything is going to be organic with the exception of the calendula seed oil. I don't, oh, you know what? That might actually be organic. I'll double check on that. But for the most part, everything is organic. I just didn't type it in there for whatever reason, but it is. So now we're gonna hop on over to Excel and to the internet to create our pricing for this particular product. Okay, so we chose what components we want from our oils and herbs ingredient map. And then, and I've kept it really simple for the sake of example, but you actually could make a blend like this. I would buy a blend like this if someone made something this carefully constructed. So, let's start by going over to Excel, and I'll choose a blank workbook, and we'll just call this Calendula Care Baby Oil. All right. Oh, well, I guess we won't call it that. Okay, we can call it that. And then here, we'll start creating, you see right here how we have the list. These are all the subheadings that we want on our Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to go over here and do that. So I'm going to go vendor, oops, we go. So I'm gonna go vendor. I'm gonna go ingredient. Oops, I don't know why that's doing that. I'm going to go amount, then I'm gonna go price per unit, and then I'm going to say quantity, and then let me go back here to my cheat sheet so that I can remember subtotal and then price per ounce. So let's go back to our handy dandy subtotal and price per ounce. Okay, so don't worry that it's all squished like that. We're gonna fix it later. Okay, and so when I look at my ingredients, let me put my ingredients right here, right? Let's go back to my ingredients. I already did the research for this, so I want to make this presentation a little bit shorter for you by not doing the research in front of you. But I found the only place for calendula seed oil was Shea Terra Organics. And then the sunflower oil, let's take a look at the sunflower oil. Okay, so there's two places I can get sunflower oil. I can get it from New Directions Aromatics. So those of you who are in my courses or who buy the foundations package, you get an international suppliers list that has resources from Australia, the United States, Canada, and South Africa so far. So you'll have a list of places that you can look at to shop. But for those of you looking at this, let's just assume that we're talking, North American terms here. You can get a gallon of sunflower oil, organic carrier oil, from New Directions for about $30. Okay. However, that price does not include shipping, and if you buy less than $100 worth of product, they're going to charge you $20. So that would be 60 plus 20 plus it's probably going to cost at least 20 for shipping because 2 gallons of sunflower oil are very heavy. So we're looking at $100 if I get it from New Directions, even though on the surface it looks like it would be really cheap. If I go to Amazon, right, I would be getting it for $27.50 and I would get free shipping. Okay, so that's a much better deal for this particular product. Now, if you were making a shopping list for a whole line, this price here at New Directions would definitely be worth considering because you'd probably be picking up a whole bunch of other oils and creams and this and that. So you would definitely make that $100 easily. And then the price of this and some of their other oils, they're really wonderfully priced for carrier oils. It would be worth it, right? But in this particular case, it's not worth it. So New Directions is going to be out of the picture. So we'll just go ahead and close that window. And then we'll stick to Amazon for our carrier oil. And then we'll go back to our Excel spreadsheet, right? And so this bit of, for a simple product, you can do things one by one. For a more complex product and for the ingredient line, this whole researching the price thing would be its own other thing. It would be a whole other thing. It might even get a separate video just depending on, what I think you guys need or if you guys request it. But for now, we're just going to pretend that we've done all the research and we know where the best prices are and so forth. So we're going to go here and we're going to say Amazon. In fact, let's go ahead and Control X so we can cut this and go one down. Control V, we're going to paste it there just to give us some breathing room so we can see things easily. Okay, so the vendor is going to be Amazon. The product is going to be organic sunflower oil. The amount, we're going to get a gallon size. The price per amount, let's just round it up. I like to round things up, it's just easier, to $28. And then the quantity, that refers to the units, right? So I want 2 units, okay, 2 gallons. So I'm gonna put 2 here so that when I'm shopping I know that I'm getting 2. The subtotal for this is going to be $56, and the price per ounce, I already calculated. I have a little cheat sheet over here. Let's look at my cheat sheet. Okay, yeah, here we go. So we're just gonna do, this is what it's gonna look like eventually, but I really want to show it to you step by step so you can see how to do it for yourself, or else it just becomes theory and you just never fully learn it. Okay, so I've put all that in there, and let's go ahead and stretch this out so that we can accommodate all the different, like some of our vendors are going to have really long names, so we'll go like this. So we're stretching it out. See this top column? I can just stretch it out so that I can actually see everything that I'm doing. Okay. And some of you will be familiar with Excel. You know, it's not that exclusive of an item, but you know, if you haven't worked with Excel since college, you might be a little rusty. Sometimes this is helpful, or else it just becomes kind of stressy to do it. So we can do that because price per unit doesn't take up very much. There we go. And then quantity, subtotal, price per ounce. So now we can actually see everything that we're writing, which is cool. All right, so that's the subtotal. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go here and I'm going to put another subtotal, because if we were getting more than one thing from Amazon, there'd be a whole list of things here. But because we're only getting the oil, we can just go ahead and do that. And then shipping, because I like to be able to see how much the shipping is going to be at a glance when I'm ordering stuff, is 0. And then this, I like to make it, I highlight it, and then I make it bold, just so that I can see things. So doing things so that it's visually easy for you is a great hack. So Amazon was our first vendor. So what's our next product? Our next product is going to be the calendula seed oil, and I get that from Shea Terra Organics. Now, I don't ordinarily say that you should buy stuff off the shelf and use that. You should always try to get wholesale pricing. However, this is the only place that sells it. Now, my trick with Shea Terra Organics is that if you're on their email list, you'll always get a 30% off coupon every single month. Okay, several times, a 30% off coupon. And if for some reason you forget the code, just call them and say, hey, I'm on the email list, I forgot the code, this is what I want to order. Okay, so use your 30% off coupon, and then if you order over $75, you get it for free, right? So what we're getting here is this lovely product right here, which is the, not the coupon, but the cold pressed Egyptian calendula oil, and this is pressed from the seeds. All right, so I'm not going to put that long name in there. I'm just going to say calendula seed oil because that's going to stand out in my mind, right? So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put in calendula seed oil. Okay, and so The bottles it comes in are 2 ounces. You just don't get a larger size, unfortunately. That's the only size they have. And so the price per unit is $24. However, it's going to be discounted by 30. Okay, so I'm going to say times 70%, so that when we're looking at the numbers, it starts to make sense. So my goal is to make 30 bottles that are 8 ounces, okay, with just this one product. And so 30 times 8 is 240, okay? So I need to make 240 ounces of product. So when I go back and I look at my formula right here, at a glance, I can see what? I can see that I intend to use 2 ounces per 8-ounce bottle, or per 8-ounce quantity of oil. So that means I need 30 times 2 ounces. Okay, so I need 30 units of this. So I'm going to go back to my Excel spreadsheet. And I know this looks expensive, but you'll understand what I'm doing in a little bit. So 30 bottles of that. Okay, so 30 times 24, let's see, so that's 240, 680, 720. That's 720. And then 70% of 720 is going to be, oh sorry, not even 70% of 420 is going to be, I have a little cheat here. Okay, here, so I'll have to remember book 1, I didn't save it. So that's going to be about $475. I actually calculated it as if it was 33%. So if you go after me for my math, sorry, I didn't do 70%, I did 66%, but it's really 70%. But we're just going to keep, for the sake of examples, we're going to keep it at 475. So really it would probably be like 480 something or whatever. But we're going to keep it at 475. So that is including free shipping. That is including my 30% off coupon. And so that means my price per ounce. So that means that each bottle is going to be about $15 and some change. I did the calculation earlier, and the way you get that is you say 475 divided by 30 to get the price per bottle. Is about 15 something, and there's 2 ounces per bottle. So because there's 2 ounces per bottle, then that means that oh no, okay, sorry, I'm doing the wrong one. Here we go. So that means that each ounce is going to be $7.92. Okay, because $7.92 plus $7.92 is 15, right? So we're having that 15 to just look at the price of 1 ounce, because that's how we calculate our formula. So let's just go here and put down $7.92. All right, and then I like to just copy and paste this so I don't have to keep doing the same thing, and then I change the numbers. So right here I can do that. Wait, I can just go here and it'll paste it. And so I'll change this to 475. And because there's a $sign above it, it'll probably just change it to 475. It'll add the $sign for me. Okay, so I'm good there. All right. And when we get to the more complicated product, there's actually several hacks using this thing. You just highlight the numbers that you want to add, and you can press sum and it adds them. You can press average and it averages them out, and all kinds of different things. But we're not going to use that for this because this is the simple formula. Okay, so next we are going to go to Okay, let me jog my memory here. So we already did sunflower oil, calendula seed. Okay, so now we need to go to Mountain Rose Herbs because we're making that calendula oil ourselves. Okay, so let's go to Mountain Rose Herbs, and what we need here are organic calendula flowers. Now, the reason why I'm putting organic in this particular thing, even though I know in my head it's organic, is if for some reason, you know, you are sick or you have to hire somebody to order things for you, some places have organic and non-organic selections, so you want to be sure that they get the right one. In fact, I should go here and put Baja, which is the brand, right, for the organic sunflower oil from Amazon. But we'll just skip that because this is just an example and no one's actually going to come after me and do that. Okay, so organic calendula flowers. Now, organic, the thing with herbs, sorry, my son decided to be super loud again. Okay, so the thing with herbs is that some herbs are really dense, so just a little bit is quite heavy, like for example, frankincense tears or myrrh tears. Whereas other things are practically like air, like hibiscus and nettle. Like a 5 pound bag is huge. It's like the size of my torso, you know? Whereas a 5 pound bag of amla powder is gonna be like a bag of flour kind of size, you know, like a grocery store aisle bag of flour, right? So you have to know this when you're buying herbs. So if you're just, not sure, maybe you can just email me and say, hey, how heavy is this? I'm not quite sure how much to get. But you're not going to need very much for our purposes. I made the mistake once of buying a 5 pound bag of calendula flowers, and it's just huge. It's like, the size of my upper body. Granted, I'm not a huge person, but still, I am a grown woman, and on the smaller side of average, that's still a really huge bag to store. So you want to kind of minimize your storing when you can. So organic calendula flowers, we go over to Mountain Rose Herbs. And the reason why I don't even usually price shop with Mountain Rose Herbs, when it comes to my herbs and my botanicals, there are certain places I go because I know the quality of the place, of the ingredients. I know it's going to be fresh. I know that if there's an issue that they're going to work with me customer service wise. So I always get my herbs from Mountain Rose Herbs. And then if they don't have them, then I'll look at other places. So I don't care if they cost a little bit more there. But honestly, herbs tend to be pretty reasonably priced, even at Mountain Rose Herbs. So this is calendula flowers. They also have whole flowers, but they were double the price. It says notify when in stock. They usually stock things pretty frequently, so don't be alarmed. Just press that button and put your email in so you can be notified if for some reason you go there and they don't have anything. So the biggest size they have is 1 pound. So I think I'm going to need about 2 pounds because I'm probably going to put about 6 ounces in a 64-ounce mason jar, fill that with oil, and do the same thing about 2 times, I think. So I think I'll get 2 pounds. Let me see. Do I want 2 pounds? I might actually be able to get away with 1 pound. But because the shipping, I'm going to have to pay shipping because this is the only thing I'm getting from Mountain Rose Herbs. I am going to get 2 pounds so I don't have to order from them again for a while. Okay, because the calendula flowers are just going to stay fresh in my house and sealed in a bag. Okay, so I'm going to get 2 pounds just to be a little bit more cost effective on the shipping aspect here. Okay, so let's go back to our Excel spreadsheet. We're in book 2, organic calendula flowers. We're going to go 1 pound. Price per unit, let's just say $21. And then quantity, we want 2. Subtotal, let's get $42 going here. Okay, so price per unit. I think I already calculated it here, so I don't have to be doing math and slowing you guys down. 131 per ounce. So the way I calculated that is I know that there's 16 ounces in a pound. So in 2 pounds, that means there's 32 ounces. So I take the $42 and I divide it by 32 and I get 131. So, you know, for those of you that are good at math, please bear with me. But I get so many requests for those sort of calculations that, you know, I've just learned to assume that everybody needs them. Even though I know not everybody does, but 70% of the people watching probably were like, oh, good, I'm glad she did that because I don't even know how to calculate that. So I copied and pasted, right? And that's not correct. So I want to make sure I go back in there and I put 42. And again, it's going to be so kind as to put the $sign for me. Unfortunately, here we do not. I'm going to assume that shipping for this is about $10 because it doesn't weigh very much. So $10. There we go. So there we go. And you know what? I can see that column B over here needs a little bit more width. So let's just do that so we can see exactly. Right. There we go. So we've got that. The next thing we need is going to be the essential oil, and I'm going to get that from Essential Wholesale. They ordinarily chamomile essential oil is very expensive, okay, on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to get, I don't know why I have gums here, so I must have clicked on something by mistake. But back to our Baby Care Essential Oil Blend. And there you will see that it has German chamomile, Roman chamomile, and lavender. Okay. I know that their lavender, so this particular blend is not organic, you know, but I am willing to get it just because of how expensive chamomile is ordinarily. But by getting it in a blend, I get it at a much better price. Okay, so for 320 ounces, I want to scent it at about 2%. So that ended up being about so that's going to be 0.1 ounces per so yeah, so about 8 ounces ends up being about 2% of 320, right? So this price is going to work for me. This price, 157 for 16 ounces, would be better if I only want to buy, you know, once and not have to worry about it for a while, but it just depends on what your budget is looking like. So you could just easily just do this 86.45 and you'd have, you know, enough for that. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest. I don't love the smell of this Baby Care Essential Oil Blend. There's just something about it that's a little sharp, and that's the nature of chamomile essential oil. I love the smell of chamomile flowers and chamomile tea, but the essential oil, I don't know, just kind of makes me a bit so what I do is I would mix this half and half with organic lavender essential oil, and then mix it with this, and that would cut my price down much further, because 8 ounces of lavender oil is likely not going to be $86. I could probably get 16 ounces of lavender oil for about 100 or 86 or something like that. So that's just a trick. But for the sake of this exercise, I don't want to have 50,000 ingredients because this is supposed to be the simple product. And as you can see, it's already taking quite a bit of time just for the simple product. So for the sake of exercise, we're just going to do the baby blend. Baby, do they call it Baby Care or Baby Blend? Baby Care, okay. So Baby Care Essential oil blend. Okay, I'm going to get 8 ounces, and the price per unit is about $87. I'm only going to get one of those because I probably already have sticker shock from that one. That's the Nature of Chamomile oil. And what is the price per ounce of this? Let's go to our little handy dandy filled out already cheat sheet. So the price of that is going to be 1088 per ounce. Okay, so that's pretty high. So $10.88 per ounce. Okay, now there's places where you could get a blend like that for a little less, but you'd be buying such huge volumes, and for the most part the people I cater to are not in that space yet. They don't have a warehouse to store this stuff. Okay, they're working out of their homes or out of a small space. So, you know, you gotta work with what you got. So so there, yeah, those places have $500 minimums and stuff, and for many people they're not going to spend that much money. So that's that for that one. And then of course again we do our subtotal. One thing about Essential Wholesale is that they never discount shipping, and their shipping is high. And so this is coming in a glass bottle. So I am going to assume the shipping is, say, $14 at least. And I might be being nice. Okay, so I'm gonna say their shipping is $14. Okay, so with the exception of the bottles, which I'm going to leave till last, and you'll see why later, this is kind of what we're working with. Okay, so when I total everything together, I'm going to use that handy dandy sum thing. So let's just go like boop, 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 boop. Oh, actually, I don't need to do it that way. I can't do it that way because I put the subtotals there. But when I add the subtotals up, I'm going to add 56 plus 475 plus 42 plus 87, right? And then and this will probably not include the shipping. I'll just stay aware of the shipping. When we do the pricing video for an entire line, I'll show you how you can kind of spread the cost of the shipping into your products. Okay, so that your per ounce price over here includes shipping. Okay, but we're just doing one thing from each place. I think your shipping can be covered easily by the profit you're gonna make, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay, so we go here to book one, and we will see that our subtotal. Oh, I never added our subtotal. Okay, so 56 plus that, so that's what, 526 or something like that. Yeah, I think it's 526. So that's 568 about, right? Plus so that would be 668, 648. So you're looking at about $650 around for your order, and that's before you order your packaging and your do your your logo and printing the labels, maybe getting a little website going, or selling on Etsy. So you can add maybe like another $200 to that. So that's what, about $800, $900. I know that sounds like a lot, but you're gonna see in a little bit why that's not as much. Okay, so now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make calendula oil, and we're just gonna calculate it on the same page just for ease. And so let's just go here and put my calendula oil infusion. Okay, and then so what do we need? We are going to make 320 ounces of product, right? Or alternatively, we can go here and we can look at our formula and get again and say we need 3 times 30 ounces of calendula infused sunflower oil. Okay, so we have 2 gallons coming, and 1 gallon completely, 1 gallon is 128 ounces. So 1 gallon is going to completely be used to make your calendula infused oil. You're like, oh, well, Eden, what's going to happen to the other 38 ounces? If a gallon has 128 ounces and, and I'm only going to get 90 ounces of oil out of my infusion, what happened to the other 38? You just lose it. You just lose it in the pouring off process and the straining process. The flowers themselves are going to swell up, so they're going to absorb some of the oil. So you might get more than 90 and you might get just a tiny bit less, but that's a safe amount to assume for a price that that's what's going to happen. Okay, so that should probably be enough. So I also am going to need so I'm going to do it in 2 64-ounce jars because that's the largest size jar I can get for mason jar size wise. And in each jar I'm going to put about 6 ounces, which is going to go up to like about a third of the jar, maybe even half, right, of the jar. If I need to put a little bit more, I have plenty of flowers to put in there. Okay, so based on that, this is what I come up with. Okay, so I already calculated it over here. I'm going to take this bar right over here and move it along so we can see. So 1 gallon of sunflower oil is going to cost me $28. 12 ounces of calendula flowers, I said 12 times the price of an ounce of calendula, right? So 12 times 131 is going to be $15.75, because remember we calculated our per ounce price there, so that's where your per ounce price comes in handy. So $15.75 for the amount of calendula flowers I'm going to use, and it's going to yield about 90 ounces of calendula oil. Okay, so and that 90 ounces cost me $44 to produce. Okay, because 28 plus $15.75 is about $44. Okay, so the costs per unit of my infusion is I take 90, I take $44, so 44 I divide it by 90, and then this 49 cents, okay, or you could say 50 cents, is the price of each ounce. Each of these 90 ounces of oil that I just made myself is costing me 50 cents. Now, just for comparison, in case you doubt that, it's not worth it to make your own oils, I'm going to go take a look at, say, for example, Mountain Rose Herbs. New Directions, they're not here. So let's just say so if I were to go somewhere else and buy it, because I can go somewhere else and buy it, I can go to Formulator Sample Shop, I can go other places. 16 ounces is costing me $34. Okay, so 33 ounces, so 33 ounces, to make it 90 ounces, we'd have to get 3 of these. That would cost $180, right? And this is one of the places that's more reasonably priced for herbal calendula oil. And all they're doing is making the exact same thing that we just made. You know, they're using olive oil, but if you wanted to use olive oil, you could use olive oil. There's nothing stopping you, you know. We're using sunflower oil. So you just want to make it yourself, okay? So you can save that bit of margin. And you'd still make a profit with that particular oil, but as you can see, it starts to cost a lot to make a really good product, okay? So going back to our this, okay, so let's just copy and paste this. Control copy and Control V. So there we go. So now we've got the cost per unit of my infusion. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is calculate the cost of the formula. Okay, so what you do here is you take your 2 ounces of so I put a shortcut there just because I was kind of trying to see what I was doing, but this is 2 ounces of calendula seed oil. It's going to cost me $15. Okay, we already calculated that earlier, and it's over on this side, this side of the thing, right? So calendula seed oil, I know 1 ounce is $7.92, so 2 ounces would be 15, right? So you'd be using your little calculator all along. 3 ounces of infused oil, I already know it's 50 cents, so I'm going to make it $1.50. So 3 ounces of sunflower oil, I already know that it's 22 cents per ounce, so then that's 66 cents. 0.1 ounce of baby blend is going to be $1.88. And so this is one thing that so let's just go like this, so then you can see the little, whoops, okay, let's go like that. Okay, so let's just take that, control copy. We're going to go to our working copy that we're creating over here, and we're going to go cost of 8 ounces of baby oil formula. Then I'm just going to paste what I did over there. I'm going to make this bold and underline it so we can see it easily. Make this bold, underline it, and see it easily. You can also color code things if you want to see things easily. So there you go. You've put that in, and so now you want to figure out what the subtotal is. So let's write subtotal here. Okay, there we go. Subtotal. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this little column of numbers that I've highlighted. I'm going to go to this like weird sigma sign. I guess it's like an E that's got a pointy middle. So take the sigma sign, and then it's just sum. So I just press it. Boop. That's all I have to do. And then it'll add everything for me. So maybe I will make all of this bold too, so that we can see what we're working with here. Okay. And so that's the cost of 8 ounces, okay, of a formula. So that's what it costs to make 8 ounces. That's the X. So you're thinking that is expensive as hell. So if the minimum I need to charge is 3 times X, right? 3X, then that means my 8 ounce needs to be $60. Okay, that's fair enough. But let's go to my complete document here that I finished earlier. Okay, so that we can cut this short a little bit for you guys. So the cost per ounce I calculated is $2.50. So all I did was divide this 1987 right here by 8, and I got 250, right? So $2.50 per ounce. So I know that a 2-ounce bottle is going to cost me $5 to make, right? Because I'm doing 2 ounces of something that costs $2.50 per ounce. So that's $5 for 2-ounce bottles. So if I do a 2-ounce bottle at 6x, it's going to be 30. So $29 for marketing purposes is a good price. There's just something about the 9, and they've actually done research on this. When you end something in either 9 or 7, it sells way more. For some reason, even though technically we know when we get to that place and they say it's 99, and you know that they're just trying to trick us with that penny, it does something to our brains. Like scientifically, it does something to our brains where we just don't factor it in. You know, $14.99 sounds better than $15, and $19 sounds better than 20. So 29 definitely sounds better than 30, because every time you go to a new number, you know, you're entering a new zone of resistance from your customer. So 2 ounce for what really amounts to a baby oil serum, $29, like 90% organic, if not higher than that, is a pretty good deal. And then the next thing is you could double that size, right? So present it in a 4-ounce bottle. Of course, your 2-ounce bottle is going to be a glass dropper bottle or a glass pump bottle, where you know those little serum pumps. One of those two. I don't know that they have serum pumps that are 4 ounces, but you could do a dropper bottle for your 4-ounce. So that gives the person more control, especially of a more expensive product. So 4-ounce bottle at 4x. So a 4-ounce bottle is going to cost $10, because 250 times 4 is $10. You 4x that, it's now $40. You sell it for $39. Okay, so you're making like close to 30. You're making $29 in profit here, and here you're making $25 in profit for a really small amount. And then the 8-ounce, you can market that as the refill bottle, right? So they can keep their little fancy bottles that are really pretty. Then they can just have a large 8-ounce glass bottle that lives in the, I don't know, linen cupboard or wherever they store their extra cosmetics, or under the sink or whatever. And they can refill the small bottles. And then they just only have to buy it once, and this is appealing to people who have multiple children, or who just like it as an all-over body oil, or what have you. It might actually even be appealing to other makers, you know, who might want to just use your product as, you know, part of the ingredients in something that they make. And so you can market it as all those things. So then that would be your 3 times price. That would be your $60, and you could price it at $59 to $69. Now, in the customer's mind, this $59 to $69 starts to really look like a deal when they see these prices down here, right? $29 for the 2-ounce, that'll be, you know, maybe I'll try it or whatever, you know. The 39, you could even do a 1/2-ounce sample bottle too, right? At some kind of price. I don't know what kind of price you want to put there, but you could do a 1/2-ounce sample bottle. You've got the 2-ounce, you've got the 4-ounce. I think the 4-ounce is really a sweet spot because it's really long lasting and it's not too much. It's still under $40, right? So that's probably going to be your sweet spot, where you really want to help people, encourage people to buy. And then maybe you can even give them a little bit of a discount and say, hey, you know, just today I'm gonna give you $22 to try this bottle or whatever, you know. So those are things you can do. So just the psychology of this, you're getting double the amount of the 2 ounce and the 4 ounce, but for only $10 more. It's not like you're charging $58, which is what double 29 would be. You're charging $39 for double the amount, right? So technically you could probably even go to 49 and they wouldn't budge, but I think 39 is a good price. 59 to 69 for that one. So that's how pricing a simple product works. Now, as you can see with those kind of margins, when you're buying your bottles are going to be, because they're glass, I'm going to say $1 each for the smaller ones. And then maybe the 8-ounce glass might be a bit more. It might be $1 and some change. I don't think it'll be $2 each. And your labels are probably, if you're only buying a small amount, say let's just say you're buying 30 or 40 labels, you're probably looking at least $1 per label, maybe $1.50. But that's still, I wouldn't include that in the X because then it just becomes too expensive when you're making an expensive product. I only include that in the X when you're making a really inexpensive product. And inexpensive for an artisan, okay, not inexpensive for Walmart. Inexpensive for an artisan would be something in the $12 to $16 range, okay? So in that case, retail. So in that case, you would include the price of the bottle and the label. But for something like this, you might not do that initially. Maybe eventually you can, but when you start Xing the packaging, you can kind of go to crazy land with your prices. So I hope that was helpful. I know that was long, but I think that helps you realize, oh, I almost forgot the juiciest part. Let's talk about profit. So you could either so you have 320 ounces of product made that you can store in your empty gallon bottles because you're going to have leftover bottles lying around. You can store it in the sunflower gallon bottles that you ordered or whatever. So you can pour that into 3 different sizes of bottles, so you could have 10 of these and a certain amount of the 4 ounce and a certain amount of the 8 ounce, right? Bottles handy, and you just kind of fill them and label them as people ask for it, so that you're not sort of sitting around with bottles that don't sell, right? So you just sell it according to whatever is the most popular. And then so let's just say that you only did 2-ounce bottles. So 2 ounces times, so you have $30, right? So 320 ounces of product, you'd get 162-ounce bottles. So 162-ounce bottles times $30 is $4,800. So even though you spent about $900 to set this up, you would end up with $4,800. So you're making about $3,800 profit if you're not actually paying for advertising. And at that price, you can afford to pay for advertising. You can do a little Instagram ads or Facebook ads or what have you. Okay, pay for someone to take a nice video shoot or photo shoot of your things. So a 4-ounce bottle, right? So a 4-ounce bottle, you're looking at, so 7, 8. So you're looking at 80 bottles, right? Yeah, 80 bottles. So 80 times 40 is going to be $3,200. Right, so you're making $3,200. So then you're making about $2,300 in profit, which is not bad, right, for a $900 investment. And then with the 8 ounce is probably where your profit is going to be the least. You're going to get, I believe it's going to be 16, let me see. Oh no, wait. 8 ounces into 320. Oh, sorry, 8 ounces into 230. That's what I was saying. So 8 ounces into 2, yeah, so 30 times 8 ounces into 240. You're going to get 30 bottles. And if you're charging 60, So 60 times 30 is 1800. So you're just going to make double your money back about if you only do the 8-ounce bottles at 3x, because you have to factor in all those other things, right? And those other things, a lot of those are just overhead initially for setting up, because you won't have to continually pay for your website. Well, you'll have to pay for hosting every few years or once a year, depending on how you do it. But beyond that, you won't have to pay for someone to design your website all the time. You won't have to pay for branding all the time. You'll already have that done, right? Printing your labels, you're just printing them at this point. You're not having them designed and so forth. So, that margin could go up a little bit, but you're really looking at a little over 50% when you charge 3x. So this is why when I say 3x is something that you can do, but it is a much closer margin, because people don't factor in all those other little expenses that you need to put together to make things work, and so now you see with all these expenses why people do things like charge shipping. If you're doing 6x and 4x, you can afford to give people free shipping if they order more than $50, or if they order more than $75, or if they order a complete package, like if they subscribe, if they become a subscriber and every month they get a package of products from you at their doorstep, you can then afford to give them free shipping, and they'll like that as a courtesy. Or to get, packing tape that has your custom brand on it, or whatever you want to do. Okay, so price your things well. I'll see you in the next one that's even more involved. I may even have to break that up a little bit for you. Okay, so I expect to get a lot of questions after this. If I get no questions, that means you understood nothing. And if, or you understood everything. But if you understood everything, definitely let me know. Tell me it was helpful. And if you understood nothing, definitely come to the Q&A next week on pricing. All right. See you in the next video.